What's up, guys? Chimp here with another market update. And since the last one, we've had a bit of a flush here. So, question is, what's next? Is this it, or are we gonna get more? And so, let's just first start by talking about some of the. I want to start by giving the bullish catalysts and reasons why there are to be bullish. But I'm still leaning bearish. But I want to sort of present both sides of the market. So, first of all, on the bullish side of things, MetaPlanet deployed they raised, double the 632 million. They deployed about half of it. So realistically, they probably have another 5,000 Bitcoin to purchase. So we know that there is going to be a 500 million or $600 million buyer in the market this week, which could help keep the floor, stable in the market, I guess you could say. Also, if stocks continue to go up only, maybe you get more ETF flows. On the reverse, if stocks are weak for some reason or another, maybe you get outflows. So there's a bit of a two-way risk there. Also, you've had a dump back into this sort of consolidation range, right? We had this multi-week consolidation range. We're basically trading where the market, basically we're having like this resistance turn into support type situation potentially forming. So if you're bullish, these are the things that you look at in my opinion. And last, you could say like, hey, open interest wiped quite a bit, right? Like global open interest I was talking about was basically at all-time highs. It's come down a bit. So from that perspective, hey, there's been a decent number of resets. And so if you're looking for a reason to long, those would be, in my opinion, the reasons. Now, let's talk a little bit about why I am still leaning bearish here. And again, it comes down to several reasons. One, I still think leverage is very high, and that's what I'm trying to zoom out. Global open interest at the prior peaks was at 90 billion, right? And at the lows it was at 46. And so like when you look at where it is now, like global open interest is still quite high. Like there's we're at 103. When we were at 110, 111, 112 in the past, we're at 70 billion. And so I still think the market is actually very leveraged. And I'd be surprised if this is like the extent of the sell-off, basically, in the sense of, that we never get a wipeout. Second, I want to show this lick map. And so last time we talked, I showed some really high degen longs that were like going to get liquidated if the price dropped $1,000 or $1,500. And actually, basically they have been liquidated. So the low-hanging fruit has been taken out. And now, actually, I'm curious. Let's see if I can pull it up after this. Basically, there's still a big pocket of longs, basically from like here to like 103 that have been, like, for the lack of a better word, allowed to live. And I still think these longs are actually vulnerable. I still think at some point these guys get taken out. I don't know if it's like this leg down. I don't know if we get more chop because of MetaPlanet and all these apes, but I think at some point these longs do get hunted. And look, at minimum, I mean, if we get a situation where these longs get hunted, we dump down, we like find a strong support, etc., like I'd be more than happy to flip bullish. But at this point, like I still think like the other issue with this market too, and I'm a bit all over the place right now. Again, like just look at the crime, right? Let me see if I can pull up two screenshots. I'll have to cut the video out if it releases docs info. I'm gonna try to pull these up right now. This is very interesting, actually. Fortunately, my internet is slow. Basically, what I was gonna show is if you looked at like that Aster coin. I didn't find this. My friend Ali sent me this. Ali from ZooCap. So if you're in the ZooCap Discord, find the link in my bio. Okay, let's see. I actually was able to pull it up, so I can port it over here. So this is what the Astro Lick map looked like just a couple days ago. A lot of shorts, some longs, etc. Whatever. Here's what it looked like as of like 12 hours ago. All the shorts got wiped. Everyone's like max long, right? So when you look at this market, like the behavior is just like max frothy, right? Like apes are just long like crazy. And by the way, actually, like in terms of long candidates, I think this is one of the best long candidates. Like I think if we get a wipeout and you get Aster at like 60 to 80 cents, like that's something you want to slam because you probably make an easy 2x. I don't even know if you get that, but if that happens, that's something that I'd look for actually. Like that, in terms of like long candidates, Aster is actually one of my top long candidates if we do get a dip. Because I just think there's so much hot money and the CZ name attached to it that it should have an outsized bounce relative to other coins. Okay, let's see what else was I going to talk about. One other thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'll try to wrap this video up. I don't want to make it too long. I know I've been all over the place. It's been a long day. One last thing I want to talk about is markets at some point get bored. I talked about it last time in terms of like the larger macro extractionary behavior, and I think we are there. But I also want to talk about a second thing, which is markets have this like finite window where they can sort of sustain before they just get bored and you like at minimum enter a chop state and worst case you enter a top. Like when we ended up pumping in from like I'll show 3 examples. I'll show more. When we pumped February of last year, we had about a month of up only, and then we got like some complacency, and then we basically got chopped, and like at minimum again we got chopped, wipeouts, consolidation, people getting bearish, etc. The second example is like December, January of last year, where we have this big run up, and eventually like the market gets bored, etc. And so you start this decline. And this isn't the case with just this top, right? Like you look at like the top in October, November of 2021. You look at the top like basically Feb to May of 2021. Like all these tops, like basically what I'm trying to say is like you have hot money. That hot money comes in, and at some point, like hot money stops coming in, money goes like people are trading PvP, and then at some point the bottom falls out, and that's still what I'm expecting here. So, people have asked me like, has my bias changed? No. What would make my bias change? Like, again, I'm sort of playing this one leg at a time. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I personally think this looks like a huge complacency shoulder, and if we start dripping, like, question is who's the like. I'll end with this. If we have a situation where this market starts to drip, and you have a situation where stocks pull back, I think this market can really like trapdoor down, and ultimately that's sort of what I'm anticipating at some point. So, look, can MetaPlanet hold us up for another week? And some strong ETF flows hold us up for another week? Yeah, like it's definitely possible. But I think ultimately we're going lower, and it's just a matter of when, not if, in my opinion. So, anyways, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, and until next time, take care.